Alright, I'm back with episode number 3 of underrated albums by my favorite bands. Nobody watched episodes 1 or 2. I don't care. I'm going to make this a thing. Watch it or not. Some people did. The people did. Left some cool comments. So I like that. Thank you. Let's get into it. We're going to go. Judas Priest. One of my favorite bands. I think I got them at number 5. I got of my favorite bands. Number 1's Queen. Number 2 is Pink Floyd. Deep Purple. You can argue Deep Purple is my number 1 band. I don't know. But then we have Black Sabbath, and they're kind of tied with Elton John, who's not a band, but he's a music artist, so we're going to count that, and Judas Priest. Judas Priest used to be solidly number 5, but when I went and saw Elton John, I don't know. We got a debate going on here. But the album I had in my worst to best video, which was episode number 2 of that series, which everybody was pissed off about. I got controversial. I always throw in the controversial picks, controversial snubs. I had this one all the way at number 3. I forgot, I put Stained Class down towards the bottom. People were really mad about that. Thought they'd be more mad at putting this one, because this one strangely gets a lot of flack, and that is Point of Entry from 1981. More or less, more of a pop sounding record. Not quite as pop as Turbo, but kind of following in the direction of British Steel with some of the lighter, shorter rock stuff. I love it for that reason. I do. Big songs off its Heading Out to the Highway, Hot Rockin', and Desert Plains. 80s Judas Priest, awesome. It's sandwiched in in between probably the 2 best albums. One I beat it out. I think my number 1 and 2 was Screaming for Vengeance, number 1. Number 2 is Defenders of the Faith. Then I had this. Then I had British Steel. But, alright. Say you bought this album when it first came out. You got it just right after British Steel. Not a big drop off. That was a highlight of Judas Priest at that point. If you were buying every album in order, no decline for me. In fact, it's equal to me. I prefer it a little bit more. I like the non-hit songs, the deeper tracks on this better than I do on British Steel. Even though British Steel's got Living After Midnight, which I can hear a million more times. I never get sick of that song. And then you got Screaming for Vengeance, which redefined heavy, I think, with the title track, Riding on the Wind, all that stuff. They got heavier. So, yeah. Let's get into it. It's only 38 minutes, which is, to me, perfect length for an album. Never go over 40 minutes. Also came out in an era where bands were putting out stuff like every year. Short albums, they didn't care. 8, 9, 10 songs, all short. Put it out. If you don't like it, we got another one coming out next fall. That was a great thing about music back then. They didn't spend 3 years making a 75-minute album like Metallica does, and then you only care about 15 minutes worth of the album. No, everything was killer. Go into the studio, couple weeks out of the year, bang out an album. If it's good, it's great. The next year, if you don't like it, we got another one coming out. So that's what I liked about it. Kiss always had a new album out every year. Varying degrees of success, but you know what? That one stunk. The next one's going to be better. Also, they kind of changed their style. This like from Painkiller on, they just went like super heavy. Judas Priest just one track mind, super heavy all the way since then. Kind of varying degrees. Angel of Retribution, they come back. They did have like a regular pop rap song from I think would have fit in this area, era, Revolution. Why aren't they doing that now? Firepower, it just sounds like a whole bunch of songs that sound like they were like Painkiller. No, go back to this. They did on Redeemer of Souls, the bonus stuff. I got it on record, all the bonus songs. I think they went back and kind of made songs that sounded like it was from, you know, early 80s British Steel, point of entry kind of era. Let's go into it song by song, all right? Because I also got the remaster. Heading Out to the Highway, total banger. Play it in concert most of the time. I'm going to say most of the time. It's not every single tour. They kind of been, the last couple of years, they've been throwing in some deeper cuts lately. Don't Go, that was a British single. I don't think they played it in the American tour. I looked that up. They played it on the beginning of the tour when they started in England. But because that was a single there, it wasn't here. Hot Rockin'. Watch the video, it's ridiculous. It would make the most open-minded person a little homophobic, that video. But Rob, we love you. We don't care. We love Rob Halford. Turn in Circles. A deep track on the album. Probably nobody's favorite Judas Priest album, but it's a good, solid song. Filler songs were better back in the day. They weren't overly thought out. It just they probably didn't spend more than a day writing that thing and another day recording it. Desert Plains. That is like a concert, like showpiece. Dave Hollins, I think I will say that's probably one of his best drum performances. Every time he plays that live, he always plays a little bit faster. Dave Hollins, very underrated. Everyone's always on like Scott Travis as being like the best. Yes, he is the best. He can play anything. But there's like, Dave Hollins too simple. He's a beast on this. If you ever heard him actually, they get replaced by a drum machine on Ram It Down, but if you actually hear him play Ram It Down live, he played it even faster, and he was awesome, and he's a total beast. His later history was sketchy, although I did some research. Like, some people say he was guilty, some people say he was innocent. The court said he was guilty. Reddit apparently says he was innocent, and there was some other evidence later on. I don't know. I'm going to say I'm still a fan of his drumming. Solar Angels. That's a real metallic. Every time I think of that song, I always think of like the airbrush of the... Well, this one doesn't really have it. How the logo was always airbrushed and real metallic looking. That the pedal, like I always call it a flanger, but it's a flanger. Because either that or super chorus on the guitars sounded so metal to me. Let's look on the inside of this. We're talking about logos and stuff. You get all the covers of all the stuff. I'm just looking at this when I first got into Judas Priest around like 92-ish. This is another record I swiped from my brother. Nobody was listening to the records then. I think he just ditched them all for tapes and CDs at that point, so I took all of his records. And this was the one this is the first real exposure to Judas Priest. This and local New York station. I'm living in Massachusetts now, but it was a Q103. They were always playing like Living After Midnight, and they were always playing especially You Got Another Thing Coming. So this is the only Judas Priest I had at home to listen to, and I was not disappointed. And I soon, just because I want to show more of my albums for this video, Metalworks, double disc, Judas Priest. Tip, when you're buying stuff on eBay, read the listing, because this one was in trash shape, and I had to put it in a new case, and I hate wrinkled CDs. What is going on with somebody that they trash their CDs like that? I don't know. But let's get back to it. You Say Yes. Maybe the weakest song of the album, but it doesn't stink either. All the Way. All right, that one might be a little bit weaker. It's not bad. That's not a bad song. Troubleshooter is probably my favorite Judas Priest deep track. One that's like completely forgotten. Probably never been played live. Love that song. I went back and watched my original video for Worst to Best, and I was talking about that, how I got it stuck in my head. That song, and I couldn't, like, what Judas Priest song is? What album is that? And I was like rifling around trying to figure it out like forever. It was Troubleshooter. I'm in the shower, like, and I didn't have the words in my head. I was like, oh, no. Rob Halford was like screeching. I had that in my head, figured it out. So happy when I did. All right, and then the last song is On the Run. That was another good. It's not no bad tracks on it. But was there any bonus tracks on here? No, you get another bonus track from the plethora of leftover tracks from Ram It Down and what was the other one? Turbo. On the Run. I think On the Run. Oh no, Thunder Road was from Turbo Sessions. It sounded like it had real drums. No remaster. They remastered Screamin', Turbo, I think Defenders of the Faith, and you get like a full concert from each of those remasters. We didn't get one from Point of Entry. Would have liked to have heard that. What else do I got to say? No filler, all killer on this album. From the pop kind of era, pop rockin' era, like Scorpions were killing it this time. Black Sabbath with Dio was killing it this time. Ozzy was first coming out solo this time. It was a great era for metal, and the production of like metal at that time I thought was really good too. So that's what I got. Trying to do more rock videos because I've been slacking on that. We're gonna probably come back with another worst to best. White Snake, I still got to get to that. I got to write some notes. This one I was listening to it all day. He's like, boom, we're gonna do this one tonight. Wrote it down. This video's going on for 12 minutes. Probably talk too much. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Watch the original worst to best video. Get mad at me. Comment, and I'll probably write you back.